Did you know that most of the decisions you make, especially those involving spending money, are influenced long before you even realize it? And that there are psychological manipulation techniques so powerful they should be considered illegal? In today's video, we're going to explore the unethical tactics that savvy salespeople and companies use to mess with your mind even before you step into a store or see an ad. These practices are rooted in the concepts of persuasion, a term popularized by the renowned psychologist Robert Cialdini. If you've ever wondered how some people can make you buy something you didn't even want, stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll discover how to protect your wallet and your mind from these traps. And believe me, if you master at least half of the tips I'm going to share today, you'll be ahead of the game and might completely transform your financial life. Trick 1. The power of directed attention. Manipulation. Before first contact, even before an ad appears in front of you, your mind may already be manipulated. How does this happen? Companies and salespeople know that what you pay attention to can easily be associated with what will be offered next. For example, if a salesperson can get you to think about safety, they can sell an alarm system or insurance much more easily. This technique is known as directed attention. Basically, the manipulator directs your focus to a specific aspect, preparing your brain to accept what comes next as relevant or necessary. Think about commercials that highlight car accidents before selling car insurance. You're already in the right mental state, and that's when the sale happens. The key here is that you've unconsciously prepared yourself to believe you need that product. Scientifically, this is based on the idea that the human brain tends to consider what it's focused on as more important. By controlling the focus of your attention, the manipulator puts you in a vulnerable position where decisions seem logical, but are actually implanted. Everyday example. Imagine you're at a restaurant, and the waiter starts talking about the importance of fresh and natural ingredients. When he presents the dish suggestion, which is 20% more expensive, you're already convinced that the quality is worth the price. But the truth is that you were prepared for this, and you didn't even realize it. Trick 2. The priming technique, the invisible bait. Did you know that your mind can be prepped to act in a certain way just through subtle stimuli that you don't even notice? This is the principle behind the technique of priming, or the invisible bait, one of the most powerful and unethical tools in the manipulator's arsenal. Priming happens when someone exposes you to a stimulus, a word, image, or even a smell that subconsciously influences your response to something that will be presented later. For example, in a famous study, people who were exposed to the word money for just a few seconds were more likely to make selfish choices afterward. This technique is particularly dangerous because it works on a subliminal level, shaping your decisions without you being aware. When you enter a store, the music, colors, and even the layout may have been carefully selected to prep your mind to spend more. Everyday example. A supermarket that plays French music near the wine section might increase sales of French wines, even if customers don't have a clear preference. You think you chose on your own, but in reality, you were led to it without realizing. Trick 3. Creating a false scarcity scenario, the fear of missing out. Who hasn't bought something because they thought they might miss the opportunity? The creation of scarcity is a technique that plays on the natural fear of loss, one of the most powerful emotions influencing human behavior. When a company makes you believe something is rare or a deal is limited, your brain goes into survival mode. The idea that this could be your last chance triggers an emotional response that overcomes logic and makes you act impulsively. The most concerning part is that this scarcity is often artificial, created just to generate urgency. The famous today only or last units are classic examples of this technique. Most of the time, there's more stock, or the promotion will repeat, but you were led to think you needed to act quickly. Everyday example. On a hotel booking site, you see the message, "Only 2 rooms left." This speeds up your purchase decision, even if you were still unsure. In reality, there might be dozens of rooms available, but the urgency created by the false scarcity makes you act. Trick 4. Anchoring. How to manipulate perceived value. Have you ever bought something on sale thinking you were getting a great deal? This could be the result of the anchoring technique, where the original price of a product or service is inflated so the discount seems more attractive. Anchoring works because your brain tends to latch onto the first information it receives, which becomes the anchor. If you see a watch priced at $1,000 on sale for $500, the perception is that you're saving a lot, even if the actual value of that watch could be much lower. This technique is unethical when used to distort the perception of value, leading you to buy something you normally wouldn't. It's a manipulation of your sense of value, making you make decisions based on an unfair comparison. Everyday example. You go to buy a car, and the salesperson shows you a more expensive model first, so that when you compare it with a cheaper model, the latter seems like a great deal, even though it's still above your budget. Now I ask you, do you think it's hard to make a YouTube video like this one? And what if I told you that in 1 month you could earn between $5,000 and $10,000 per month as extra income by creating simple videos for YouTube like this one? I have a complete and straightforward course that I developed for a single payment of $29,090. $29,090 ain't make you more poor or rich, but what if this program works for you? Well, the link is in the first pinned comment of the video and in the About section of the channel, okay? If you're interested, just click the link to know more. But now back to the content. Trick 5. False reciprocity. The gratitude trap. Reciprocity is one of the most powerful principles of influence. When someone does something for you, even if it's small, you feel a social obligation to return the favor. This rule is so deeply ingrained that it's often used unethically to manipulate your decisions. Companies and salespeople use false reciprocity by offering something that seems free, like a sample, a gift, or an initial discount. The intention, however, is not just to be generous, but to make you feel indebted, and therefore more likely to buy or accept an offer. This is unethical because it plays on social norms, inducing you to act in a way you normally wouldn't. It's a manipulation of your need to be fair, used to profit at the expense of your goodwill. Everyday example. You're at a shopping mall and receive a free sample of a beauty product. Later, as you pass by the store that gave the sample, you feel the need to go in and buy something, even if you don't really need that product. Trick 6. Fabricated testimonials and manipulated social proof. We believe that the majority can't be wrong, right? This is the basis of the concept of social proof, where our decisions are influenced by what others do. However, this natural inclination can be manipulated through false or exaggerated testimonials. Many salespeople use testimonials that are carefully edited or even fabricated to create a false impression of a product's popularity or success. The idea is that if you believe other people like you have bought and been satisfied, you'll be more inclined to do the same. The unethical use of this technique lies in deceiving the consumer, creating a distorted image of reality. It's a subtle form of pressure where you're led to believe you're making a safe and popular choice when in fact, you're being misled. Everyday example. You see an ad for a new fitness device with numerous testimonials from people who lost weight quickly. What you don't know is that these testimonials may have been paid for or edited to appear more effective than they really are. Trick 7. The use of social pressure. Everyone is doing this. No one likes to feel left out. Social pressure is a powerful force that can lead people to make decisions they wouldn't normally make just to feel part of a group. This is a trick used to manipulate the purchase of products or services. Companies create the feeling that everyone is doing this to induce you to go with the flow. This pressure can be direct, as in marketing campaigns showing large crowds using a product, or indirect, as in exclusive events where only the best are invited. This technique is unethical because it exploits the natural desire to belong, forcing you to make choices based on the fear of being left out, rather than a rational assessment of your needs. Everyday example. You receive an invitation to an exclusive product launch event. The exclusivity makes you feel like you need to attend, even if the product itself isn't something you really need or want. Trick 8. The halo effect. The dangerous charm. Finally, we arrive at the halo effect, where your initial impression of a person, product, or company unduly influences your subsequent perceptions. If the first impression is positive, you tend to evaluate all aspects of that person or product positively, ignoring possible flaws or disadvantages. Salespeople use the halo effect to manipulate your perception, starting with aspects they know you'll value, like appearance or reputation. Once you're charmed, It becomes harder for you to notice negative aspects, leading to purchase decisions that may not be the best for you. This technique is particularly unethical because it plays on the fact that we are emotional, not rational beings. When you're captured by the halo effect, your critical judgment is compromised, making you vulnerable to bad decisions. Everyday example. A well-dressed and charismatic salesperson can convince you to buy an inferior product simply because you were influenced by the positive first impression they made. These are the 8 unethical practices based on the persuasion concepts of Robert Cialdini. They are powerful techniques that can make you spend money without realizing you're being manipulated. Now that you know these tactics, you can be vigilant and avoid falling into these traps. Did you enjoy the video? What do you think could have made it even better? Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and if you want more tips on how to protect yourself from these psychological traps, watch the video that's appearing on the screen. See you next time. I'll see you there.